Greetings, Goddess Body Minds is your Goddess Guru, Tyra Omilade, here to share a word of wisdom and inspiration with you on your path to self realization and self mastery. Today is October 1st. I always get amazed at how time is really, really moving. How are you today? I hope all is well with you all. Happy Libra season to all the Libras. I know we've been there for a minute, but I'm just now getting on. So happy Libra season to all the Libras and Libra risings. If you're Libra rising, this is like a new year for you, a season of new beginnings. So this is your time too. For those of us who aren't a Libra sun or rising, we still have Libra in our chart. So hey, what are you doing with this Sun and Mercury in Libra energy? You know, Libra's all about relationships. So some of us might really be evaluating relationships. We have Venus that is really showing up and showing out. Good morning, right now, because Venus is about to go retrograde in Scorpio, and I be doggone. I've had the worst attitude. Let me not say it's a bad attitude. I just feel like I'm not playing with folks today. Good morning. And this Venus just really has me edgy, edgy. So, this is a time where I see Venus as Oshun. And this Venus in Scorpio, especially once she goes retrograde, this is like a warrior goddess. Not exactly like Oya, though I could say even sort of like Oya. Um, but this is definitely an energy of Oshun that people are not used to. I was listening to, I think he's a Babylonian astrologer, talking about when Venus goes retrograde in Scorpio. Everybody who has made some type of infraction against women is going to pay. And he told a story that this family had didn't want a couple to get together. It was a young woman and young man, some other country, and they did something horrible. Maybe they even killed the couple. I don't know. You know how it is in other countries. They do stuff a little bit that we can't even fathom here in the United States. But anywho, it was like they were gonna stop this couple from getting together. I'm almost positive this couple ended up dead. And when Venus went into Scorpio, or went retrograde, he was saying at some point, oh, the families of that couple paid. It was something that struck their country, and a lot of people died, maybe even some of their relatives. But it was like, you're gonna pay. You do something wrong to a young woman or to a woman, you're going to pay. And a part of what really got me into astrology is just the political climate of the United States. And so, not getting political, but just saying, because I study astrology so much now, when I see what's happening in politics, I'm like, dang. So, like, seeing how things are playing out with this, SCOTUS appointee and this woman coming forward, like, this man looked like he was going to get it. But guess what? Venus is in Scorpio, and she's not having that ish. So this is a time where we may feel a little edgy. Um, as a woman, we may be feeling like I'm not taking no stuff from off of anybody. Um, it may be somebody's gonna make some payments. Some payments are due to me because of some stuff folks have done. If you're a woman, um, and for me, though, I really and truly have had to just sort of temper myself from being a little bit edgy with women in general. Like, I just don't have patience for certain behaviors, certain attitudes, certain ways of being with women. And so we have to sort of like know how to channel this Venus and Scorpio energy She's very relational, so we have to also look at, we might be analyzing our relationships, feeling like I'm about to pull out a machete and I'm about to cut this thing to shreds because it's on my nerves or this person. But we're in a season of really thinking about relationships. It's crazy. It's crazy because it's not spring, but we got a whole lot going on right now when it comes to thinking about relationships as well as money. So, but I do say, there comes a time when this feminine energy, it can't just be so soft. Sometimes we just got to have hardcore feminine energy, raw, pure, primal energy. It's like wild woman energy is how I look at it, and I know I have men looking at these videos too, and so it still manifests in all of us in different ways. It's it's this piece of us that is going to um just not care. And the way we channel it is we're not going to care about what people think about our dreams. We're not going to care what people think about us. um it's just like a child. When a child is like 3 and 4, 5, 6, maybe even up to about 8 or 9, they are just who they are. They don't ask permission. This is in general. If we just let a child be a child, they don't ask permission. They don't think, oh, someone's bigger than me, so I probably can't take them down. They just go for it. I oftentimes look at little children and think they remind me of like little lion cubs, little tiger cubs. They're just playing and jumping and thrusting and just pure, raw, wild, go for it, And that's how I see this Venus in Scorpio energy. So that's something to think about. We're dealing with relationships, we're dealing with Venus. And also I think it's a good time for us to be thinking about our money. Okay. This is another time where having our money on our mind and our mind on our money. And it may not just be money, it could be resources. It could be just looking at our abundance consciousness in general, because anything scorpionic is good morning. Anything scorpionic is dealing with the occult, is dealing with old, um, wisdom, old occult knowledge. And so it's time out for us to think I should go to work and make money. Like we all know, people have been talking about the law of attraction forever, but it's time for us to take this thing deeper when it comes to the abundance consciousness. And yes, we do, some of us, we're going to work a job. That's what we do. But we still have to have an abundance consciousness, because it's not just about money. It's about understanding how do we actually manifest that which we want in our lives. Because really, no money can buy you a happy relationship. No money can really buy a good internal sense of well-being and self-worth and self-value. But it is the abundance consciousness that allows all of that to unfold and manifest in our lives. And so understanding, how did our ancestors really make it? Like, really, what was their connection with the great divine consciousness that allowed them to be able to just, I mean, they had what they needed. And we need to be more like them. And of course, I'm going to say we all should get out into nature more. By the way, one of the things on my vision board for this year was to go camping with my husband at least 2 times, because he's an avid outdoorsman. And of course, if I say I love the Orisha and their nature, I need to be out there camping with him. So I did go camping maybe 2 weeks ago or so. I had a good time. I had a real good time. So who's going camping? Who's getting out there going hiking? Who's getting out there on the river, the lake, the ocean, sitting out on the beach? Come on, y'all. We got to do this. We've got to get out there, because nature helps us to really tap into this occult wisdom. It helps our consciousness to really be open and clear and free of all the clutter of this world. This world is trying to keep us blocked. Scorpio's like, we're not having that. Scorpio rules the orifices. Maybe I shouldn't say orifice. Yes, the sphincters too. I'll say it that way. But the anus, for instance, and so it's a portal. And Scorpio is about purging and releasing and letting things go. And so it's a time of purging and releasing, letting things go. And I know we're in Libra, but we have two planets in Scorpio. So Scorpio is a little bit, and Venus is going retrograde in Scorpio. So it's really like we have this scorpionic thing going on at the same time as Libra, which has the Sun and Mercury there, having us thinking about our money and relationships. Also, maybe the arts too. But going back to Scorpio, you know, Scorpio is about opening the portal, but before we can actually open the portal, we've got to let some stuff go. Let me go into what I've been working on, some of the updates that I want to let you all know about. So I haven't been on. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Um, to a certain degree, it's like I have to decide what I'm going to do. And I have been working on putting together, I'm going to say two things: courses, because people want to learn more and I want to share what I have. So I want to put together some courses. I actually have been working on that. And as well as the way I was initiated with my godparents, because they are, you know, very educated. My godfather, Baba G, who has been coronated actually a king by a king from Nigeria now. Um, he always says to us, you know, there was in ancient Africa the spiritual intelligentsia. And that's how we have been brought up. We're the spiritual intelligentsia. And so whenever we do something with them, um, there is a piece that where we're going to be talking, we're going to be learning. Naia is all about that Scorpio thing, like Venus and Scorpio. We're gonna let some stuff go. We're gonna peel away this onion before we open you up for initiation. So there, like when I initiated both times, there was like an 18-month period before we ever went to the final process of going to that door and you know going through the final rites. There was 18 months. And so I just have always been, that's how I've initiated, because I've only ever been with these godparents. And um what I feel is important, just based on my own experience in all these years of trying to figure out what is this Ifa Orisha thing, what is this goddess thing, is just really having guidance. Is shrouded in secrecy. And I have talked about this in previous videos for very good reason. I mean, to a certain degree, was to protect ourselves. And another reason is everyone doesn't need to know all the awo, all the secrets. Because some folks don't even really want to know. They just don't want other folks to know. So they're gonna come in acting like they want to know. But let me not go conspiracy theories. Anywho, um, so so many people have said they want to go on ahead and start out in Ifa. Everybody starts out, people in Ifa on their Orisha journey in a different way. So for me, I believe in Alekes. That's not what they do in Africa, but that's what we do in the diaspora, some of us. And so I like getting my Alekes. I think it's a great start. And if this is the journey you want to get on as Avarisha, but what I want to do is to make sure I give you a good foundation before we start this process. Now, there are some people who live near me, and it's easier for me to really conceptualize. I can actually go and do their Leke initiation. For those who live a little further away, I have to figure out what we're going to do. I'm working with my friend Baba Omitosin, who is my elder, actually my elder brother in this Orisha tradition. So he's going to be helping with this too. And so I've been putting together that introductory piece that will help everyone get a good start and be able to actually work the practice in an organic way. Um, when you say initiated, what does that mean, Hoodoo? Because you mean just to get your elecades? I shouldn't say just to get your elecades. Um, to me, if you decide I want to go through the process of getting the elecades, then okay. To me, that's enough. Everyone is not called to be a priest or priestess. I know one priestess, a Sacred Feminine Mysteries priestess, a lady I know, she said of her partner's egg bay that most everybody in that egg bay is being initiated as a priest or priestess. She's like, surely not everybody is called to be a priest or priest. But I think it's fair if you say, yes, I want to get my legacies. But and what I plan to do is describe what my purpose is, which is to give everybody a good start. And then you become Abarisha. You get your connection to the Orisha, and you'll have rituals and just a different, an understanding so that you, because Ifa or Orisha tradition is very much individual for a lot of us. I've never lived in the same city as my godparents. I don't spend a lot of time up there either. So my egg bay is my house with the Orisha and the ancestors, and it's lonely. You have to learn how to have this. But of course, you'll have me and Omitosin. But you really and truly have to learn how to have your own practices. And if you aren't given everything when you start out, then it's like you just feel lost. So that's what I'm working on too, because and I mean, I'm acting like it's like hundreds of people. It's not hundreds of people, but pretty regularly people are saying, I really want to be initiated. I hear the call. So I'm working on that. And so that's I have to sort of decide because I've started homeschooling again. What am I going to do? Make a video or work on these courses that I'm working on. Also, for those women out there who are interested in the uh, the goddess tradition, there is one that I am feeling like I'm pretty sure I'm going to go ahead and do this process. Okay, who do love? One moment. Um, and I am going to start. I need to talk to my godmother, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to start what's called the spiritual aspirant initiation. It's women only tradition because we do a lot of womb work, and so you know it's about healing our wombs because the womb of women and the great mother is we already know that we are under attack. And I know most of us sit, especially here in the United States, just fine here in our home, but it's very subtle, this attack. And the attack on women in other places throughout, history, just the attack on the womb of the earth. It's an attack on the womb of the mother. And so we do this womb work to heal ourselves. If we heal our wombs, my godmother has what's called 1 million wombs united. You can Google it. We don't have a whole lot out there on it yet, but this is the work that we do a lot through this Sacred Feminine Mysteries um, community that I'm a part of. We are working to heal 1 million wombs. When the more we heal our wombs and stand strong, everybody else is going to be better. The world is going to be better. So that's the goddess piece that a lot of people look for that I want to be working on with people that's both of these are a little more intensive. I'm also creating some things too that aren't so intense. So, hoodoo, what I would say is a good start. Are you wanting to learn about Ifa Orisha? If so, I say read one book that is really, really good is The Handbook of Yoruba Religious Concepts by Baba Ifa Karaday, Baba Ifa Karaday. So if you initiate with, and when I say you, I'm talking about anybody who watched this video, with me and Omi Tosin, then you'll be a part of Baba Karaday's lineage because my Baba was initiated by Baba Karaday. Um, Baba Omitosin was initiated by Baba Metahochi, I think directly by Baba Metahochi. If not by Metahochi, some people initiated with Metahochi. If you don't know who Metahochi is, don't even worry about it. You're gonna find out about Metahochi. Metahochi is like supreme in the USA when it comes to EFI. He really and truly like helps make EFI ours here in the West. Um, the other thing I would say is I love the works by Awo Falokun. I need to post his website. Um, if you look up Egbe, Egbe Pele, Egbe Pele. Look for that. You know, search for that. You can order books from there, and it's directly from him. Because we have to support these elders in the tradition. So, for instance, if you're going to buy a book by Louisa Tish, you know, try to buy it new. I think Louisa Tish is still making money off her jambalaya. To try to support them. We really need to support our elders in the tradition. These people have sacrificed their lives for us to know all of this. But anywho, the book that is going to be required for initiating through what I have been given by my ancestors and the Orisha is the Ori or Inner Peace, Inner, Inner Peace, and it's about the Ori, Ori. So those two books, one by Karaday, one by Falakun, to me, foundational for getting a good start in E5. You are most welcome. So let me wrap up with the wisdom that I have been given. Also today, the moon is in Gemini. So, you know, this is a good day for doing things that we need to think about. If you need to make social media posts for your business or, you know, whatever, using social media to benefit you, today is a good day for that. But it's definitely a day for ideas, creative thinking, and maybe even some ideas, coming up with some ideas about our relationships. Mercury is so important, y'all. And the one thing that I do plan on talking about is the moon is so important. It is so important. It's for anybody, but especially women, to live according to where is the moon, what phase of the moon are we in, and I think we're in the waning phase right now. And what sign is the moon in? It will help us get so much done in our lives, and we'll stop working against ourselves, you know. But it doesn't matter if you're more of a masculine being, if you're male, that's fine too. Use the moon. The moon is it is so important. It is really good for manifesting things. But also, Venus is another thing, especially for those of us that really like the goddess tradition, really looking at where is Venus right now? What is Venus doing? Because that is going to be describing so much to us about how we're going to be just feeling and being as a feminine being. You know, so if Venus is in a sign like Taurus or Libra or you know, even Cancer, then we're gonna be that's like what we're sort of like used to and conditioned to think about women. But if it's in, say, for instance, like I'm talking about Scorpio, you know, this is the aspect of women that I think folks struggle with. If women are just too scorpionic, if they're too hard, if they're edgy, all of a sudden we calling her the B name and everything. It's like no, there's a place for this too. And we have to, if we're aware of it, then we're not using it to destroy people. Instead, we're channeling it in order to manifest what we desire, especially if we're wanting to work with the goddess. And I have this one friend, he comes on sometimes. Good morning. Um, Momo. Momo is one of my male friends who is like all about the goddess. And I feel like for men, if you really want to connect with the energy of the goddess, like moment by moment, one of the ways to do that is to really focus on what is Venus doing and connecting with the energy of Venus in your own chart. Connecting with the energy of Venus, you know, wherever she is, if you don't know where she is in your chart, just understanding if Venus, say for instance, is in Mars. Well, let me give a different one. Yeah, let's say Mars. I'll stick with Mars. Then this is a time where, we we're going to be dealing with, say, for instance, Pele. Maybe, you go read the about Pele. You try to connect with the energy of Pele. I just say that because Pele is all about volcanoes and Mars is hot and fiery. So Venus and Mars is probably going to be a little bit like Pele. So you connect with the energy of Pele. It's a way for you to find that connection because sometimes it seems like men really struggle with um, what do I do? How do I connect with the goddess? And we really need to encourage that in men. Connect with the goddess. That's a good thing. Uh, there was this book when God was a woman, and I must confess I did not read the whole book. I need to go back and try to read that book. But when God was a woman, and it was talked about that there was a time when there was the way people talk about God, it was goddess, like that was supreme. And I think to a certain degree, if I remember correctly, men were like not it got out of hand, sort of like it's out of hand right now to a certain degree. I don't know if women were abusing it or what, and men wanted it. And so that's how we've gotten where we are. Men began to oppress, suppress, depress the energy of the divine feminine, and I think that if we help men embrace this aspect of themselves, people talk about toxic manhood. We begin to help men embrace this this aspect of themselves, understanding that they can connect with the goddess through us, through the earth, but as well as like through the moon or through Venus, helping them find their own understanding of the goddess within them and their connection, their direct connection, because just because they're born in masculine form does not mean that they don't have that goddess energy within them. If we embrace that for them, but we got to do it for ourselves first, then we will probably maybe get away from this extreme, disdain for the goddess in this world. It's like so ridiculous. Okay. Yes, Kai, Venus is still in Scorpio. Um, so Kai, Venus in Scorpio is the way to look at it is, um, Venus is about relationships, about femininity, is also about money. Venus is also a benefic energy. Scorpio is dark energy, occult. It deals with trust, it deals with sexuality. Um, It is, very strategic and it's piercing energy. And so, like, with Venus being there, you might be the type of person who is like, nobody can lie to you. You may not be able to prove a lie, but you will sense a lie, especially in relationships, because to me, Venus is so relational. So this makes you able to like really hone in on relationships really well. It also may make you the way you express yourself in relationships is scorpionic. So you might be sort of jealous. You might be the type that's like, baby, I'm all in. Uh, I don't do no relationship light. Once I lock in and hone in on you, you're it. You're the one. And it may not even be just romantic relationships. It could be friendships too, because Venus is about friendship. So yes. Oh, nice. Okay, that's very nice, Kai. Very nice. So yeah, yes, yes. So yeah, Venus, and I like Venus in Scorpio because I'm a Scorpio rising. I now see it's nice to have an edge. Women need to have an edge. I don't want too much of an edge, but of course that's my nature. But I like having an edge, and so some women they're going to be a little edgy, and or this Venusian energy, this Venus energy, it brings an edge to it. So that's just a little light description of what I see as Venus in Scorpio. So the energy surrounding us this week is Haru positive, hmm, Sebek negative. That is so fascinating. I did the reading and I didn't even think about it. What is Haru? Haru, Haru is the sun. It is the energy of Shango. Okay, and Sebek is Mercury. It's the same energy as Eshu, Elegba. And so um the sun and Mercury are both in Venus right now. This is so fascinating. Both the sun and Mercury and Venus. And so we got Haru positive, Sebek negative. That's the sun and Mercury. Hmm. So y'all, I guess we do need to make sure we're focusing on what is going on in with this sun in Libra and this Mercury in Libra. So Libra is definitely about relationships. It's about contracts. It's about paying attention to the fine details because Mercury is going to be looking at the details. That's what Sebek says. Sebek says, look at the details. Most astrologers are saying if it's something that's already in the works, it's okay, but we have to be really careful about entering into new contracts and new things right now because Venus is going retrograde and Venus is all about contracts. And I think she's even going to go back into Libra a little bit. Mercury um, is going to be getting close to its shadow period soon. So it's like we really need to pay attention to the details. The other way we can look at it is we need to pay attention to the details of our life. You know, sometimes it's in the details. And I was just mentioning Ochozi to somebody earlier today. You know, the Orisha Ochozi is the tracker. And so for the modern day people, the way I relate this is we need to track what we do day in and day out because really if you want to know where you're headed, huh? You need to look at the details. You need to look at track what you do day in and day out. That's letting you know where you're headed. Track where you're spending your money. That's letting you know where you're headed. It's really in the details. The goal, there's some phrase I've been trying to get to bring up to my head, but it's in the details. And so now is the time to be looking at the details of your life. We're headed into, oh, we're already in fall. Lord, happy fall. I even missed that. Oh Lord, y'all, I'm sorry. I will say on the fall equinox, I was visiting my older son at the academy. So I was out of pocket. although I was outside, but happy fall. So we're in fall. It's time to really begin to think, how's this year gone for me? What have I done? Looking at the details of the year. Go back and look at your journal, your social media, look at what you've been doing, what you're talking about, look at, if you have your own business, what have you been doing all year? Look at your relationships, look at your health. If you're a student, look at your habits, what you're doing day in and day out. What progress have you made? What kind of grades have you made? Let's look at all the details and start saying, "Oh my gosh, what do I need to do differently to get further along?" So, yeah, that's another way to sort of think about um, this Mercury in Libra situation, the Sebek. And the other thing too is with the Sebek negative, it's like we need to work on our attitude. I have really found that it seems so cliche, but attitude really does determine altitude. I mean, our attitude is going to decide, am I going to do A or B? It's the attitude that we have right now that is making the determination about what we're doing. I've been doing this program called To Be Mindset. If y'all look it up and like it, let me know now. Don't be selling me out. I do sell it. But anywho, and I just say that because I tell people stuff all the time and they're like, oh, I got it. And I'm like, yeah, but you ain't get it through me. And I didn't tell you to get it through me, so I really can't even be mad at you. Anywho, To Be Mindset. It's like I know what I need to do. I'm a health coach, fitness instructor, and actually I've been at this thing since I was 10. When I think back in the day, I was exercising and dieting at 10 with my neighbor Candace. So, um, yeah, I've been doing this thing. I know what to do, but I wasn't doing it. And so I started doing this thing called To Be Mindset. And literally, this woman and other people like Dr. Eric Berg, you can look him up on YouTube, they helped me to change my mindset. So when I needed to get over sugar, it was really changing my mindset over sugar because I was not going to just let sugar go. I wasn't going to let it go. But then the more I began to understand, look, this is what sugar is doing to you. Not just sugar's bad. That wasn't working for me. Sugar's bad for you. You shouldn't eat it. Well, yeah, well, I love it. But once I began to understand, it's all about the insulin. It didn't just change the way I ate sugar, it's changed the way I eat, period. It's changing the way I live. That mindset of low insulin all day long, you know? I want to be keeping my insulin low. That's my mindset. And so it changes what I do. Whereas before, my mindset was, I just love sugar. I'm eating natural forms of sugar. And I'm making everything or whatever these little rationalizations I was coming up with. I had to change my mindset, and that's another thing. Moving on with Sabak. Sabak says it's too much rationalization going on here. You're rationalizing what you're doing so that you can continue to do it, even though it's not providing good dividends. Because what Haru is saying is we told you what the strategy was supposed to be. You said, this is the strategy, this is what I'm going to do, but you're not sticking with the strategy. You're rationalizing to keep yourself from sticking with the strategy. Therefore, self-sabotaging behaviors are going to abound. You work the strategy, you want to make inroads, and Haru is about being a good leader and manager, especially of yourself. You want to be making some inroads into your self-realization, into achieving your goals. Then what you need to do is to work on your mindset. You need to stop rationalizing crap. You need to stop rationalizing these relationships that you're in, knowing doggone well when you really think about it, at the end of the day, some of these relationships are not good for you. Or maybe you are the one who sucks in the relationship. And I just say that because I've really been looking at myself. Like, Am I a good friend? Do I have the right attitude toward my friends? See, I present as all nice and sweet and loving, but like I said, this Venus and Scorpio got me feeling, it's bringing up aspects of myself, the dark side that maybe I can push down and suppress. And so I have to actually look and say to myself, am I really the B in this particular situation? I mean, like, for real, for real. And so this is what Haru and Shago is asking us to do. Look at everything and ask ourselves, is this really profitable? Is this really what I need to be doing? Am I making using some rationalization to stay where I am because I don't want to change? Because see, this is what Haru is saying. You've got to make the choice to change. This stuff is not magically going to happen in your life. You've got to make the choice to change. And so you can rationalize your way into staying stuck in your stumble, staying stuck in your relationship, staying stuck in your spiritual practices, staying stuck in your relationship with the great divine, with whatever. Or you can say, you know what? I know what the strategy is. I know what the plan is. If I don't, I'm going to intuit the plan and the strategy, and I'm going to have discipline. This is what Haru says. You got to have that discipline. And the way you utilize your willpower is you set the vision high. You know what the vision is. And you ask yourself step by step, is what I'm doing right now taking me towards the vision? Is it in alignment with the strategy on the way towards my goal? Or is this not what I'm supposed to be doing right now? We've got to do this. We've got to be good managers of ourselves and our lives. Okay. And the more we work on our mindset and stop rationalizing crap, the more we're going to see we're moving in the direction that we need to go. The last thing I'll say is we can't be operating from emotion. We really need to be taking stock and looking at our programming. This is what Haru says. Haru says, you know, what is this program inside of you? What software are you working on? Are you working on software from 1970? Or have you upgraded the software and you right here, right now in 2018, you know? We're operating based on what mom and them told us and what teacher and them and principal and them and this coach and them, older kids, the cousins. Now some of us have had some traumas because we talking about Venus in Scorpio, so we got to be looking at sexual trauma, we got to be looking at abuses. Some of us are like that program got set inside of us because of that abuse, and now we're just like, that's what we're operating on. We're operating based on all of these wounds, and some of them may not be wounds. It just may be faulty information. It's just not true. And so we need to use our Sabekian, our Eshu mercurial vision, and also Venus in Scorpio, Jupiter in Scorpio too. They got Scorpio just really on fire. We've got to really use that x-ray vision of Scorpio to really look deep within and say, I need to really look at this. And I need to take that program out and put a new program of truth in. That's what we need to be working on right now. So when people want to know what is initiation, initiation is all about going in saying, oh, wait a minute, this is not the right program. This is called the lie. Taking it out and uploading the truth. That's all initiation is. We're trying to get rid of the lie, upload the truth so that we can live according to our destiny. So that's what I have for you all. Let me see what y'all talking about. That's what I say, Kai. Eshu and Mercury are the same energy. Everyone says different things, but according to the Metu Neter, Sebek and Eshu are the same, and they are the same as Mercury. And sort of like if you okay, because they're all the messenger. They're messengers. So that's how Eshu is related to Mercury. I'm not saying that's what the Yoruba say, but we modern day people, so we relate everything to everything. Yes, Amy B. You said you've got to stop making things harder than they are. And so, what I would say to myself, if I'm thinking, why am I making this so hard? I wonder if there's a program inside of me that says things have to be hard. And instead, I start making a concerted effort to change that way of thinking. If it requires things to be hard, if things are hard, then I will rise to the occasion. But it doesn't have to be hard. I can get this done in 5 minutes. I can get this done with, grace and ease, effortlessly. I'll just look at it on a case by case basis. That's how I began to change my programming when I'm like, I think I might be making something a little bit hard. Yes, new program of truth. New program of truth. Okay, any more questions? Any more questions, y'all? Just wanna I like typing into the comment section. I see my little 40 plus eyes. I'm squinting. I'm gonna go get me some new glasses. I like progressives, but I need some I gotta get just a plain pair of glasses. Progressives are good, but they have made my eyesight worse. So I'm like, thank you all so much. I appreciate you all. Let me know how things go for you over the next few weeks. And I'm hoping at least just to do Mondays. Oh my gosh. Just at least get on and do a reading for you all. Do y'all like the readings? I think y'all do. All right. Love y'all. Have a good one. And I wish y'all a great Venus and Scorpio retrograde. Y'all don't cut nobody. Don't cut nobody. Love y'all. Peace. Oops. Hitting the wrong button.